Africa. I'm a black man that lives in America. That's where I live at. And so I grew up in Pittsburgh, but I've been living in my life in Detroit for the last 19 years of my life. My life changed here. It changed because people who don't look like me have benefited me by supporting me, loving me where I was as a man. Black, white, and brown. And I challenge you, if your agenda, not saying it is to tear up this city like you're doing my city in Pittsburgh, you're wrong. You're wrong. And I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's anybody in this circle. But listen, no matter what your color is, the best way that we can learn from each other is listening to each other. Right? And not coming with a conversation that you already have in your mind that you're going to have a rebuttal to what they say and how they act. And you know, we're quick responders. We got something quick to say. We defend our pain more than anything else. So let's put our defense mechanisms down. Let's even listen to the people who want to destroy, because they're coming from a pain source. And so you got to hear them to then really calm them down. Yelling, screaming won't work. A soft answer turns away wrath. And I'm telling you right now, the best way for us to come together is this right here. My children are at home. My daughter just came to me and just showed me all these memes that she's seen. But she's biracial. She's not black like society says. She can't be leaning to her dad's side and not looking at my mother-in-law that I call mama. Looking at my father-in-law that I call dad.
A lot of them.
We can't do that. And so what I want you to realize is it's more than a black and white issue. And my wonderful brothers who don't look like me, you really don't understand. Because you're not black, but you're here to support because of your heart. So I applaud you and I thank you. So look, because I'm done, don't allow this to be your only time if you're not living in this city, if you're not in Detroit, because I work with young people every day on the east side. I live in Harper Woods. I work with kids in Osborne, Denby, Harper Woods, Chandler Park. I work with kids every day, and if you're not a regular attender, all thing you got to do is come to the side. I can give you a way you can support Detroit and black children and black people, as well as I can come to your suburb or come to you if you live in Detroit and come and support you. Because the job the God that I serve had gave his life for me and told me to serve and to love people who despitefully use me. And so to my black people, yes, we've been going through a lot for centuries, and it's wrong, and it's not right, and it's injustice, but we can't fight, we can't do evil with evil. We can't do that. There won't be no accomplishment, because then our children, when we're gone and left, they're still repeating the same sick cycle that we've been dealing with before we even came to this earth.
Absolutely.
You came with a purpose. Find out your purpose. Find out your identity. Understand your pain. Remove the root of your pain and move into a point that you show nothing but love covers the multitude of sin. Love is our key component. Not our hands, not our weapons, not our mouths, but loving people when they don't even agree with you. I love y'all. I appreciate you.
First and foremost, I want y'all to give yourselves a round of applause. Since Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or evening, I've been out here. Friday till 5 o'clock in the morning Saturday. And I've been out here every day. Walking my shoes to my motherfucking feet is raw. And I appreciate y'all. And I never stood for nothing in my life as strong as this. And it feels like we a family out here. For real. Let's keep moving. Let's keep doing what we're doing. This is the younger generation, and I'm probably older than a lot of y'all. But I like what y'all doing.
Motivate, dedicate.
Moving forward. all I really wanted to say, and we gonna do it how we gotta do it. Hey, come here, brother. Tristan, come here. Niece, come here. What y'all did yesterday, after you got out, that was moving. That was moving. And we got shit done. For real. Because if y'all don't know, at 12 o'clock today, what the elders and the clergy of Detroit said they was gonna do, they was gonna march because they couldn't march at night with us. So they said they was gonna do their thing. And they did it for us. We get this shit done. Excuse my language, but that's just how I feel. For real. And I thank all of y'all for coming out. And I don't see a race. I see human beings standing up for a cause.
Wayne County Community College for Substance Abuse and Mental Health. I come from UD Mercy, social work. I come from Wayne State University, social work. I come from Wayne State University, PhD in sociology. And they really didn't like me either. You know, I got wrongly terminated from the job. I got sexually harassed from the job, but I stayed consistent. I took a case to the trial court, the appeals court, the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court. It printed 4 times in surgery. Every time it comes back down from the United States Supreme Court, they don't be thinking about paying me, but I see change. I see change, you know, when them justices do something and they advocate and they agitate and they dethrone the power system. And that's what y'all doing now, you know, by y'all being consistent and compliant. I said I'm passive, but I'm also a Vietnam veteran, you know. I also think that y'all should have put that police officer that just got killed, Rasheed McClain, as a victim too, because sometimes police officers, they have to do things that they really don't want to do because they caught up in the same system we caught up in. And they really just want to stay alive also. So you gotta really take your hands off to these officers and these justices. And sometimes I feel like I just want to whoop their ass though. But I'm telling you, that case in the United States Supreme Court has been there ever since 2011. One of them is a cortisone murder. One of them is money laundering, billing fraud. The other one is medical malpractice involving Harper Hospital, St. John's Hospital. One of them is involving attorneys. I had to take the Michigan Attorney Grievance Board to the Supreme Court. Then I had to take the Michigan Attorney Grievance Board all the way to the United States Supreme Court. They printed in surgery and it came out of 44.2. That meant that it was fraud on the court. So even though they knew it was fraud, they did very little. But the people, when they read those circularies online, they hit the fit, you know, and they paralyzed them. And so that's what y'all doing now. Y'all paralyzing the system, you know. Sometimes when people say you passive, you can be passive aggressive. And I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I had to come out here, you know. My old guy's 72 years old, but I work with diverse people. I work with prisoners. I'm also advocating for a person by the name of Jawan Parks that got caught up in a situation where he had to stay alive. He had to kill a police officer. You know, they came in on him without a warrant. And somebody had told him they was going to kill him. And he reported that to his probation officer, and his probation officer told him to come back in 2 weeks, we'll talk about it. Somebody gave that man an MI-15, and he did what people do. They tried to survive, and he killed them both. And then when the police came in there unannounced, he had to kill the police. But right now, he's waiting to do 50 years in jail for something that we didn't address 50 years ago. You know, my agency should have addressed that evidence 50 years ago, and they didn't. And that's the result of what happened. People been dying. We just as much the fault as Floyd or anybody else died because we ignored it, because we got comfortable in our own little teepee, in our own little mind, in our own little universe, and got complacent with what we should not do, and it's all about us. But it's not all about us. Like I told you, they tried to kill me and my wife twice, and they was unsuccessful. And that's in the United States Supreme Court. I mean, attempted murder twice. tried to kill my wife once in surgery and once in a car accident while I was in the car. They killed her mother with cortisone poison. And they covered up the doctors in the hospitals. 100 people came out behind my wife's mother in 2008, and they got paid for tainted cortisone. I mean, this is complicated what y'all doing, but what y'all doing is absolutely right. And by any means necessary, you know, you're gonna be heard, you know. But don't let nobody pat you on your head like you're gonna be. Do not be compromised. Do not be pat on the head. Do not let them throw y'all no chicken nuggets. You want change. You want real change, you know. You want this stuff to stop. You know, if you don't have it stop, it's gonna be your parent or your relative or your friend next that's gonna die. Because money outweighs and political interests outweigh anything that you want or anything that you want to do. Just stay the course. If you have to come down here 2 months, change it. In order to change things, you got to change things, you know. And this kind of speech I'm doing, I'm gonna catch a lot more heat. They might try to kill me again, but that's all right. You know, I died for my people before, and I'm gonna die again for them. You know, I'm standing dead, but hey, I'm working. Take care.
Tonight. How y'all doing tonight? My name is Andre Sykes. I'm a Detroit poet. I'm a Detroit black man, and I'm a Detroit black father to a beautiful black and indigenous baby girl. But most, what I wanted to say is poetry and art in general is the purest form of protest. It's been that way since we grew up. So if y'all like, I just want to do a poem for y'all. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Sick and tired of the noobs on frontline runners as if they were running towards a destination that they know not of. This can't be America. This can't be some kind of country that always stood for something that was more than what was right. But we know that underneath that guise of righteousness is a guise of pain. There lies bigotry. There lies the history that defavors our people to this day, and we cannot stand strong until we stand together. We must recognize that the past is something that we need to cherish, but also deconstruct. It's destructive that we only view today and in the moment as now, but we have to remember that this is more than us, this is bigger than us. And I know that our ancestors that have bled their feet, praying and marching for the same thing that we are right now, is smiling down and looking down on us, proud as hell. And I'm proud as hell. I'm proud as hell to be a black man from a gorgeous city like Detroit. I'm proud to be a black man in a country that don't give a fuck about it. I'm proud to be a black man to a beautiful black daughter so that she may look up and see that her father was on the right side of history. See that he stood with his brothers and sisters that look just like him, that look nothing like him, and that maybe believe different things than him, but we all stood together united, and we affected change. And nothing they say can ever change that, because when those history books will be written, we will be on page 1. We will be in the index of time, forever cementing our passion, forever cementing the reason that we're here today. And that's for justice. Not just any justice, our justice. Because no life matters until Black Lives Matter. Because we built this fucking ground up, so only we have the right to burn the fuck down. Only we have the right to destroy. Only we have the right to stand proud. So that's what we're gonna do, y'all. Arm in arm, hand in hand, so that we know we're right. So that they know we're right. So that those looking down above us can finally know that they can rest their head and that their job is in well hands. I thank y'all for being here. I thank the wonderful people that came here and orchestrated this. And we're going to fight until the day we die. Because it's not just over for George, it's not just over for Rihanna, it's not just over for all of us. We can't breathe. So we're going to fight until we do.
Y'all look so beautiful out here. Y'all look great. My name is Gabrielle Wilson. I have been out here with you guys since Sunday. Sunday was one of our rough days. It has been an honor and a pleasure to stand with you, to be by your side, to see everyone's tears and passion that you all have. It's beautiful, especially those of you that are not black. Your passion has been very high, and I appreciate it. I would like to address some things, and I would like to address the elephant in the room. I am a black woman. I am an individual who cares about not only her people, but keeping them safe. I do not want to put any more black people into our systems, our hospitals, at all. That is not something that I stand with. Why? Because that's what we're going against. We are going against black people being beat on. We are going against black people not having enough, not being enough. We have skills and talents beyond this world. We have not had a let out to be able to show the world exactly what black people are made of. We have been shown in the media to be violent, to be cruel, that the only thing that we're good for is drug dealing. But I'm here to tell you today that we are more than conquerors. I'm here to tell you today that black people are smart. I'm here to tell you today that we are educated beyond measure. I'm here to tell you today that we not only are cops, but we are teachers, we are preachers. I'm not here to not only tell you that we are doctors, we are lawyers, we are judges. We are here to change the future. Change history, but maintain the future. Maintain the future. And change this history that has been made for us. This time, we are the writers of our history. We are the writers of our future. Our children, our brothers, our sisters are the future. So we will do everything. My blood, my sweat, my tears, my pain, everything. I will put everything that I own up to make sure black people have it. I want people to have exactly what we are supposed to have. Exactly what we should have had a long, long time ago. I stand before you as not only a proud black woman, but an angry black woman. But I am using my voice and my rage and my anger to make sure that you have your Black Wall Street again. And I mean that from my core and my soul. So the next time you see me, not only will I be with you, but I will be behind closed doors making a way for black people. And I promise you that. This is not a political stance, baby. This is a black woman talking to you. I love you. I appreciate you. I see all the beautiful faces and all the beautiful people out here. Black lives matter, and all lives cannot matter until we do.
Good afternoon again. My name is Abayomi Azikiwe. I'm organizer for the Moratorium Now Coalition. And I want to, first of all, thank the organizers for allowing me to speak this afternoon. What we've seen over the last 11 days has indeed been historic. Irrespective of what we hear from the corporate media, if the masses of people, particularly youth, had not risen up in this country since last Monday, there's no way those cops would have been terminated. There would have been no way those cops would have been indicted. And there's no way they would be in jail right now. This is our victory over the last week and a half. And we don't want to hear about the divisive language that's being perpetuated by the corporate media, by the outside agitators that are embedded in KMAC, the outside agitators who make up a huge portion of the law enforcement officials and personnel in this city, about being violent or nonviolent. As African Americans, we have lived with violence for centuries. We were brought here in the bows of a slave ship. In 1619, 401 years ago, our ancestors worked for free. Our ancestors were lynched, they were exploited, they were raped, and they were killed. And it was all legal under the American judicial and political system. That is the history we're standing on today. So if anyone tells us that we don't have a right to be angry, that we don't have a right to organize and to mobilize, and that we don't have a right to take on those forces which have exploited us for centuries, then we know they are not on our side, that they're standing on the side of our enemies.
That's right.
We know this clearly. Before I came down here today, I was watching the memorial service, the first memorial service for George Floyd in Minneapolis at North Central University. And I was really struck when I heard his family members speak. And they talk about how they were raised up as African American, as working class, as poor people. And you can see clearly the struggle that our people have waged over the decades and over the centuries. I was also taken aback when I heard his 6-year-old daughter say, "My daddy changed the world." He did change the world. This is a historical conjunction that we're facing right now.
Yeah. Real.
And we have choices to make. We have choices to make. Either we continue to accept and to acquiesce to the racist, exploitative system, or we organize and we mobilize to put an end to it once and for all. There will be no peace in the United States. There will be no peace indeed around the world, because we've seen people internationally come out in defense and in support of what we're doing here in this country. From Greece to Britain, from Zimbabwe to Syria, from all over. To say Black Lives Matter. To say no justice, no peace. To say I can't breathe. So it's up to us today to make that decision. Are we going to move forward?
Yes. Yes. We're not going back. Can't go back.
We won't go back, will we?
Can't go back.
We have to destroy this racist system.
That's right.
We can't reform it.
That's right.
We've been attempting to reform it for the last 155 years since the end of slavery. It has to be overthrown.
That's right.
That is the only way in which we can guarantee equality, self-determination for all people in this country. That is the only way it's going to happen. Because the powers that be in this country have a vested interest in keeping us oppressed and keeping us divided. And this has been a big step forward since May 25th. We've seen more unity than we've seen in many years. We've seen more militancy than we've seen in many years. So we have to stay on this trajectory. We have to maintain this struggle. And we have to, of course, be victorious. They're concerned. The ruling class in this country is quite concerned about what's going on. That's why they mobilized tens of thousands of police, over 20,000 National Guard. They have the military on the streets in Washington, D.C. They have the president's bunker ready, all that. But we're going to stay focused. The struggle against racism is pivotal. Because if it's not destroyed, we cannot have any peace here in this country. I just wanted to mention that, in closing, one other aspect of this struggle is that it comes amid the COVID-19 pandemic that has had a profound impact on the economic health of this country. 41 million people have been thrown out of work in the last 2.5 months.
Shame.
And we're waiting for 3,000 evictions that are imminent here in the city of Detroit through 36th District Court. So we're calling on people to join us on June 15th, which is a Monday, beginning at 8 a.m. outside 36th District Court, which is 421 Madison, to try to get to those people who have been thrown out of their homes and their apartments, so they can organize to demand the right to housing.
That's right.
Housing is a human right. Water is a human right. Education is a human right.
Good.
Water is a human right. Freedom is a human right. Thank you so much for listening. Let's stay strong. Let's keep marching. Victory is ours. Thank you.
And I'm a member of BAM, which is short for By Any Means Necessary. The full name is the Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action, Integration, Immigrant Rights, and the Fight for Equality by Any Means Necessary. I just wanted to make 3 quick points. One, I wanted to say that what we have won so far in terms of the things that have been proposed in the state legislature and in the federal, House of Representatives, and in terms of, ending this whole curfew policy it is not because police and protesters found out how to work together peacefully and there was a love fest. That's not what happened. It's because we were strong. We marched in the streets. We marched down Gratiot, where the communities are, and they were scared. And that was a concession on their part to try to calm things down. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing that I wanted to say is that we have to keep marching, because even though winning the charges to be second degree on the man who killed George Floyd is a victory, even though winning the other 3 cops to be arrested and charged is a victory, anybody who has seen that video, which is painful to watch, can see that that is not second degree murder. Second degree murder is when you lose your shit and you kill someone in the heat of the moment, but you didn't think about it as you did it or ahead of time. But I watched that video and I saw this man just calmly watching what he was doing as his knee was on this man's neck, conferring with the other cops that he was with, who were also on top of him. He knew exactly what was going on, and people in the crowd were telling him what was going on. So I think that is cold-blooded, first-degree murder. So we have to keep marching, and we have to keep marching because we don't just want it to be a charge, we want it to be a charge that sticks. We don't want to hear 2 months later or however the hell long they try to drag this shit out. We don't want to hear that X amount of time later the charges were dropped down to a lower charge, or they get time served, or whatever the hell's happened in all these other police killings. We're not going to do that. So we need to keep marching. The last point, I'm sorry, it's hard to do this in this mask, but I just can't mess around with this. But the last point that I wanted to make was that, and we've said it in the chants, and people have been chanting it, is that Trump must go. And in our latest, I know a lot of people have gotten one of the flyers from BAM. The front of it probably looks something because we made another flyer. Please take one. And the reason I want to draw attention to it is because we feel like we have really made some progress, not only on these charges and winning justice for George Floyd, but also on making sure that Trump and Pence have to go now and not just waiting for the election. And in order to win that, in order to make that real, we have to keep marching. We have done more to get rid of those two, I can't, like, there aren't even words, racist assholes than anything else that has been done. And so, is that working? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Hello? Hello? Oh. Sorry. Okay, this is probably a lot easier. And so I just wanted to say that, I just think that, like, we can't just wait until November. I don't know why we would assume that Trump would not come up with a reason to cancel the elections. And I don't know why we would assume that if the election did not go in his favor, that he wouldn't try to say that it was illegitimate or cheat or whatever. He said it himself. I don't have to make this up. And I just know we have to get rid of him. We have to fully defeat his whole racist movement. And I just feel like we've come so far on doing that. So I just want to make sure that today, not only do we memorialize George Floyd, but we also march. We march to get his killer charged with first-degree murder and to make sure that he is actually put in jail. And we march to get rid of these two would-be despots, Trump and Pence. They have got to go. And so please, come get a flyer. And if you have not signed up with us, please sign up on the sign-up sheet on the clipboard. I say that because as happy as I am that people have just come out here day after day after day after day, whether or not you were told that it was happening the next day, you knew. But there may come a time when people just coming out spontaneously may not happen. There may come a time when we need to come out at a different time, at a different place, or we need to be organized, figure out what we're going to do and talk about this stuff. And if you want to be able to do that, we need to be able to have your number, your email, your Facebook, whatever. So please come and sign up with us. We can win. We can get this racist cop locked in jail, and we can get Trump and Pence out.
Monday.
My name is James, and I just kind of want to expand on something that Tristan's been pretty vocal about this entire time. And that is the subject of boycotts. But more so, where to boycott. Because I saw a friend make post about, louder? I'm trying. Post about what happened at us being brought to LCA after being arrested. And my first gut reaction was, if any of my friends go to LCA after COVID, I'm going to take it as a disrespectful action. Because that's just not okay. They didn't take us to like a nice room on a hot evening after being in the sun. They stuck us on the floor with our hands behind our backs. That wasn't okay. So I also would like to call attention to some of their bigger donators, such as Meyer, Huntington Bank, and Comerica. Because if those first-degree murder charges don't go through, why should we patronize those businesses that try to keep us down during this fight? Doesn't make any sense. And speaking of when we got, they always ask you if you have a weapon on you. Every single one of us has a weapon on us right now in your pockets. And that's your phone. Because the police are out here trying to say they did not pepper spray on Monday night. Well, we observed them pulling off goggles to pepper spray. The chief is trying to say, oh no, they pulled some of us into the crowd, so they had to. So please, and it doesn't have to be your phone, but hey, this is where I'm going to be. If you're around that area, it may help if we're getting arrested for you to get some eyes on it. Because believe it or not, I've still got friends and family who are trying to tell me that we're being violent down here. And matter of fact, put your right fist up if you have had to have a conversation with a friend or loved one that's trying to tell you you're wrong for what you're doing. All right, can we all agree that sucks? That sucks. So everyone that put their fist up, they may be taking this, strong, or they may need to be talked to. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there as an emotional support, or if you need emotional support, because there cannot be unnecessary sources of negativity when this is going on. I mean, I had to break up with my weed guy over this.
I got you. You're fine.
Oh, trust me, dude. There's been the support I've received has just been beautiful over this. So, I want you to think about the curfew getting lifted last night when I make this next statement, because the conversation that started with this turd. He texted me and he said on Sunday, "Have fun at the protest, accomplishing nothing. I will never go to a protest." Accomplishing nothing? Y'all stayed out past your bedtime last night. Is that not accomplishing something? So the last thing I want to talk about is what the gentleman spoke of for the June 15th at the courthouse, because that is insanely important. And when I walked around the corner to walk down Jefferson from the back of the line yesterday, I looked at all the people we had, and I was like, holy shit. We have something very beautiful going on here. And I would just be really heartbroken if on June 15th we don't direct that energy towards something else that we can better, because these people cannot be kicked out of their homes. They just can't.
From everywhere to be a part of this and fight for change. See, when I was growing up, and I shared this story before, but when I was growing up in Detroit, my mom had me when she was 15 years old. She dropped out of high school to take care of me. 4 years later, my dad was gunned down 22 times because he was a part of the war on drugs and the war that was going on in the street. So I was a byproduct of that. I was raised without my dad. I was raised with a 15-year-old mom, and it was a struggle, and I had to fight like hell just to be alive every single day. My great-grandparents were both on drugs. And every day I look back, I say, man, it's crazy that I'm even alive. And better yet, to be here and to still fight, because I'm the first generation to finally get out of that war. And to finally... My uncle told me, after my aunt just died from cancer a couple weeks ago, he told me that he was a cotton picker. He came from the South, retired from Chrysler, owned a beautiful home, and he wanted to give me that same knowledge. And it's because of people like that that came in and helped me get educated. See, I wasn't raised in a political home. I honestly did not know much about voting. I don't know a lot about a lot of these things that we can do, and I'm still learning each and every day. And I am so humbled that I've been out here for 7 days. Today marked the 7th day since the first day of March and Friday. And I was out there at the Women's March in Washington with my wife, and we marched against Trump when he first got in office. And that's when I started to realize that our voice mattered. People were saying, be safe out there, be safe out there. I said, I don't care if I'm not safe at a protest, if I'm not safe walking these streets, it don't matter. Because either way I can lose my life, so I gotta fight for something. And to be honest, some of my family members, they think I'm crazy for being out here, because I got my son and I got my family out here, but I'm fighting so we can be able to walk these streets and we can be able to be in peace. And the thing is, me being out here, I've been challenged. I even had someone to say kill me because when I'm standing up for it, but it really don't matter to me because I believe what I'm fighting for. I got a death threat, I've been challenged, I've been called out because I could have sat back, I could have been home, but I decided to get out here and fight. I didn't let my fear control me. A lot of people are at home saying stay safe, stay safe, stay safe. I said no, I'm not safe at all. So it's time to get out here and make a difference either way. So I've been challenged. There's people out here who are older than me. Last time I got up here and spoke, someone called me out and challenged me. I said, I am so sorry. Teach me, educate me, because there are so many people who've been fighting for our rights, protesting, marching, that I want to learn from, and that's why I am here. That's why I brought my family out here, and I'm excited to learn. Because what happened is, everything I learned, I'm going to take that back to the east side of Detroit, the west side, to Joy Road, to Dexter, to Linwood, I ain't had too many any interactions with the police, so it is what it is. I can say in the suburb, I've been harassed, I've been arrested, I've been scared for my life, and I'm against that. Ain't no racist cop should ever be able to put his hands on me just because I ain't have my license on me and put me in the back of his car and get my car searched for guns and drugs. But guess what? When I go back to these hoods, we got soldiers that look just like me, and nobody better not ever touch us. So when I go back to Dexter Linwood, 7 Mile Pearson, to bring this message, everything that I've learned from all these leaders up here, I'm going to bring that back to break this cycle, because this is about breaking cycles as well. I'm learning what it means to fight against authority, to show that we are not scared of authority, to flex our muscle and say, you see what we did in Detroit before? Do y'all want that again? And they say, no, we don't want that again. So they listen. These are things that I'm learning and seeing through example. So I am grateful that I get to see this. Sometimes we got to flex our muscle. Sometimes we got to be peaceful. I want to be a peaceful guy, but sometimes you got to flex your muscle, and that's what I am learning. So what I'm going to do with everything I just learned is to go back and make war to make sure every young kid that grew up like me, because there's a huge percentage of young guys and women who look just like me that grew up without dads. Every time I go to one of these schools and I say, who grew up without a dad? A lot of these kids raise their hand, and I'm going to make sure that that cycle is broken. My son right here, I'm going to make sure that I leave. I'm going to make sure that I teach my son how to open up a bank account, because I didn't even know how to do that. I'm going to make sure he learned how to invest, because I didn't know how to do that. I'm going to make sure he learned how to vote, because I didn't know how to do that. And I'm going to teach every neighborhood kid, break that cycle, risk my life doing it, just so when I'm gone, they can carry on the torch, and we can pass on a better future, and we can make sure our streets are safe for my son and every other kid that's out here. Are y'all with me?
Sorry, this is my other niece, Alicia. It's very comical. So. No, thanks for everybody for speaking and contributing what they had to say. If more people want to speak or have something to say, feel free. I want to open this space up again. I'm thinking of, because I want to have this time where we can talk with one another. I'm ready to march. So, and I could be, so let's have some more conversation, and then be on our way, right? Take it easy, take it slow today, because it's hot as hell and I'm tired, and you tired, especially for all y'all, but it's all right, we good. We just working for justice, though. See, I thought it was gonna be easy. No, I'm just playing. You didn't think so, but I didn't think it was gonna be this. I'll tell you, and this is real. This is real. So this is what dedication looks like. And so for anybody who has a question or is questioning you, know that you have physically put your body on the line. Your feet hurt like hell. You're tired and you're exhausted. So no one can ever question you, because you prove more than most people have been able to, who've lived 2 lifetimes, your dedication to justice by what you've done the past 6 or 7 days. So a couple of things to note. So about that federal charge of mine. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's gone. My lawyer informed me, though, that they came to his office to drop off 3 charges. No, not to drop 3 charges, to drop off tickets for 3 charges. Loitering, breaking the curfew, and interfering with the police. How terrible. So, you know, that's bullshit, right? But it's an intimidation tactic that we're not going to fall for, right? So one of our demands that we've been asking for over the past couple of days is we want to see all charges that anyone or tickets that anyone has received who participated in these protests get dropped, right? Now, the truth is we have on several occasions invited Duggan, our Livonia mayor, who talks about outsiders so much, and Hollywood Craig, as they call him, the chief of police, to come and join us, to come talk to us, have discussions. Well, here's the truth. The truth is, they're too afraid and ashamed to come to this crowd that they know will call them out. And so, I do think that we have to have a conversation with them. But remember, right, if we're going to build a movement, it has to be a movement with full accountability and transparency. So, I got a couple of proposals, and I want to see how y'all feel. So, I've talked to Police Commissioner Willie Burton, who's been an outspoken critic and supporter of the rallies and protests, who has been arguing against the curfew, who has been fighting the racist facial recognition policy of Detroit Police Department. And he has agreed to be with me to meet with Chief Craig and Duggan. But here's how it's going to play out. First off, I'm going to tell you who's in the room. I haven't talked to them yet, but I'm talking to y'all now before I talk to them, because that's what's supposed to happen. So obviously, I'd love to have my co-organizer Nakia Wallace in the room with me. Where'd my brother go? Where'd he go? Is he? Oh, you're all my brother. Sorry, you are. No, what's his name? Who's with you? No. So this is the other person that I want to have in the room with me, because I think it's important to make sure Detroit is represented. My boy went to the class.
Jati.
So, yeah.
Rastafari be my strength.
That's right. And so, here's how it's going to play though. First off, is everybody cool with this idea?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but both of us, like, you know, we like, you know, the optics, like, you know what I mean? Like, we just, but I feel like it's important for us to be heard personally. You know what I mean? And to hold people accountable. How do you feel, sister?
This is Antonia, by the way.
I have a proposal to make. And first of all, thank you, Tristan, for bringing the discourse and the conversation to the people. Like, I really think we can come up with actually what would be productive conversation. And something I would like to put on the table is asking for them to abolish the Project Greenlight that's throughout the city.
So here's the thing. Anything that the people who meet with Craig or Duggan say is limited to what people here tell us to say. Alright, so that's how we're going to play this. So we are not authorized to sign any deals unless we come back to y'all, and what we bring up is going to be based on the issues that people here want to bring up. How does that sound? If you still feel uneasy about it, good. Because you should be. Because, you know, it's so funny. Because yesterday said somebody, he's like, hey, you want to talk? And it's so funny how he always wants to talk while we're in the middle of action to me. And like take me away from the action. And you know, just anyway. So to not allow him to continue doing that, we'll actually have a meeting with him and Douglas. This way, they can stop sending emissaries on their behalf during the middle of things. So one of the things I propose that, first off, how do people like what Antonio had to say? So the things that I would propose that we raise with Duggan and Craig, again, is that they drop all the charges and all the tickets of every protester.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to forget I was asked to make 2 announcements. One, remember that there are supplies over there. There's food and snacks and face masks. And then 2,
Mobile Justice App Michigan.
She asked if you download Mobile Justice App Michigan, your video will be live streamed directly to the ACLU during a protest, and if they, won't be able to be deleted or anything like that in case they damage your phone. It'll be uploaded directly to Mobile Justice Michigan. Mobile Justice Michigan. Download that app. And if you live stream during an event or any interaction with the police, it's not just for protests, it's any interaction with the police, the live stream, even if they take your phone or delete your phone, the ACLU will have it. So that, I was asked to make that announcement and the announcement over there about the food and supplies.
Oh, that's good. And you made me realize I also should make an announcement for anyone who has like any footage, audio, video of the protests. Comrades of mine have made a website where you can actually upload all of that, and it's called DetroitCan'tBreathe.info. So DetroitCan'tBreathe.info. Oh yeah. And one more announcements. I'm sorry. A bunch of people lost during the last couple of days, like keys and a mobile charger, and I have all of those things in my pocket because people gave them to me. So if you're missing car keys and a mobile charger, get at me because I got them. Okay. That's what we're talking about. So we're talking about Antonio's policy. Antonio, you talked about the facial recognition. Is that what you said, Antonio? Yes. Yeah, Project Greenlight, which is also part of the facial or is that separate? Or are they together? Antonio?
They're together. Come talk about live.
That's the same project, right?
Yeah, it's like all around the city. It's part of the surveillance state. Oh. Hi. Okay, so my ideological problems with Project Greenlight. Where do I begin? I think the biggest thing is... Oh, okay, so have you ever been to a gas station and it has those green lights? And it says Project Greenlight, we participate. So all of those feeds are in the police station at all times in a live video stream. And they can see us, they're watching us. It's just like an extension of the surveillance state onto us, even though we're not like technically their subjects. So I do think that, like, as one demand, we can, that's substantive change of dismantling the carceral state.
And I know Willie Burton, who's the commissioner, is also for abolishing Project Greenlight and the facial recognition program. All right, so Project Greenlight, we're going to talk to them about that. We want to see that gone. We want to see the charges gone, right? We also want to really raise the need to demilitarize DPD, right? Who? Yelling at, and then, Michigan Liberation. Because, whoever has proposals that we should talk to the mayor and chief fed, just come up and let us know. Because the other thing that I want to, the other two things, and I know some people have talked about housing. First off, I just want to throw this out there. DetroitRenterCity.com. DetroitRenterCity.com. So that's the organization that I co-founded that has a whole set of resources for renters on how they can defend themselves, especially against evictions. And we're actually part of a statewide coalition called No Rent Michigan. So everything that we have on there is easily accessible and is verifiable and legal. And it really uses state law. So anybody who's a renter anywhere, because we know that this issue is particularly an issue in Detroit, but in general, renters, especially in the state of Michigan, where home ownership is a big thing, renters just get treated too shitty and don't have real resources. And so let people know to look on that website so they also individually know things that they can do and how to organize with themselves and their neighbors around evictions. So we want DPD to refuse to carry out eviction orders. How's that sound? Because technically, the only people, your landlord actually has no authority whatsoever to ever physically remove you or your belongings outside of their house. They have to get a court to do that. They are not legally allowed to go into your house. They can't change your locks, even if they got an eviction order. They cannot themselves personally carry that out. That is specifically against the law, okay? David, what you got?
Again, my name is Tabrin. I think just to add a demand and that we demand not just DPD be defunded, but Detroit Public Schools has its own police force that we have to abolish now. No black and brown student of Detroit Public Schools should be faced with police with guns when they're trying to read, write. Y'all need to get the DPS school board to the table. If they take the police out of our schools, take them out now.
I echo all the demands, but just, as a young person who, the thing that I do, my actual job is centered around working with young people, and I've been in these schools, and when I tell you the role of the police in schools is not to mentor the kids like they tell you they are. No, they're literally grabbing middle schoolers up, banging their heads, putting them in cuffs, putting them in the back of patrol cars, and terrorizing our children. So they gotta go. They gotta go. Why would a school district that's closing schools pay for police with guns for schools?
Outrageous.
Come on. They gotta go.
I also want to point out that Nikki and Tabin, when they were in middle school, okay, multiple times, but again, we see the presence of police whenever there are peaceful protesters, and they seem to have a problem with people in power. So I remember Tabin as a middle school student walking against school closures, having to be pepper sprayed by DPD and DPSD officers. And so that They wouldn't dare do that to white kids. Who do all types of shit. Nothing worse. They were fighting for their schools, for their right to be educated, and they had to be physically repressed for doing that? That's outrageous. So I just want to echo that. They speak from experience. So, did you have something, brother, that you wanted to propose for the discussion with Hollywood Craig and Livonia Duggan?
Livonia Duggan and Hollywood Craig, I think they know a little bit about me. What up, though, everybody? Come on, we got to get better than that. What up, though, everybody? That's what we like to say right here in Detroit. My name is Nicholas Buckingham. I'm the campaign director for Michigan Liberation. By the show of hands, how many of you have heard of the Black Mama's Day bailout? Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about what we do and why we're here today and why we've been walking with y'all every single day that we have been out here and helping Tristan to carry this legacy. We started off in 2018 and we started to raise our own money for the community. We raised over $30,000 and we was able to bring home 15 black moms and connect them with their family for Mother's Day. This year, we set a goal to raise $60,000, and we just happened to raise almost $100,000.
Yeah.
And not only did we raise money to bring home our black moms, when we seen that the uprising started to happen, and that people wanted to walk out of their doors and out of their communities and get in front of the police and start to list out demands, we knew what we had to do and we jumped into action. We started to raise money to bail out the peaceful protesters that's right here in the city of Detroit. And it's been an honor. It's been an honor to walk with each and every one of you for the last few days. It's been an honor to be at the jails, to work with your families to bring you out of there. It's been an honor to pay your bills, to pay that fee, that fine, and anything else that this crooked system is going to bring to you. We also have been working on a set of demands for over a year with the most impacted community. Myself is formerly incarcerated. I spent almost 7 years in prison for armed robbery. And I knew that the system was against me the moment that I walked into Jackson Prison. So I started to organize in prison around the cost of the phone calls and was able to bring that cost down within a year. And so now I bring that work home. And so now we bring that work home and we've been organizing formerly incarcerated people, wrongfully convicted people, and also those who have been victims and survivors of crime right here in the city, to make demands of what we want to see from the criminal legal system. Everything from mental illness to our police, even to the damn jail that they spending $500 million to build right here in the city of Detroit. A jail that they would not be able to fill because COVID-19 has started to bring people home and Michigan Liberation started to bail people out. So we honor you and we stand with you. And please, if you got a cell phone, go to MichiganLiberation.com, MichiganLiberation.org. Go to the Facebook page and look at those demands. We rock with y'all.
Point, we're gonna have to sit down and have a conversation with Duggan and the chief. And so how it's gonna work is we're gonna take the list of demands voted on here to them. We're not gonna agree to anything at all until we bring it back to this group to be re-voted on. That's how it's gonna work. Okay? So that's what we're doing. So if you got something on your heart that you want to demand, now is the time so that this group of people can vote on it.
And cash bail.
And cash bail?
And cash bail.
Anything else?
Hi there, my name's Adele. I worked on an anti-foreclosure campaign back in 2018. That was actually how I met Tristan. It was really a huge honor. I was in a similar position. Me and some other just tremendous organizers were picked to meet with Duggan to talk about our demands, and I just want to share what that experience was like. I know there's a lot of healthy skepticism you're already, about Duggan and Craig. The experience that we had was we had the buck passed a lot. We were told, oh no, you have to meet with this other official. We meet with a person from the housing authority. Then they say, oh no, you have to go and meet with the mayor. It's a big run around. And so that's just a word of warning and caution. I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much, though. They wouldn't be asking for this meetings, though, if the protests weren't effective, and that's where the power comes from. Thank you.
Let's not forget that. Like, we can't let up. That's the only way anything we ask for actually gets done. That's the only way anything that we get will actually get done. What you say, brother?
Expand the DPS curriculum.
Oh, you said expand the DPS curriculum, which could be done. So part of what I want to include as part of the demilitarization of DPD is that they slash the budget for DPD and to revert that back into public education. Yeah. Because sometimes everything in our space. Well, Chief Craig, how about you in detentions, pre-trial detentions? Just stop holding people. You talk to the prosecutor like they do as you ask. Just tell them to stop holding people. You can do that, Chief Craig. So that's the other thing that we're going to bring into the equation.
Restorative justice instead of
yes. Oh, yes. Really. So everyone who's in pre-trial now should be released. That's part of it. Does that sound cool? All right.
Hey, so what? Trishan, let me say something. So what this is, I believe in what this brother is fighting for y'all. But a part of it is, if we want these things met, we can't do name calling. If we do name calling, you won't have your meeting that you want so badly. Well, that's two of the perspectives. And so what I'll say is this: the only way to have something peaceful, if you're willing to come in peace. If there's a curfew at 8 o'clock today, and you don't abide by it, then that's when things change. Right. Hey, right. So listen. Yes. So
non-existent. The same thing we gonna do today.
So I'll say
that's okay. You can agree to disagree. The problem is, brother, I just think the majority of the people disagree with you. So we would like to move on to make sure that we get to our business. And if you want to have a discussion with people and your perspective, feel free to wait, or you can just say, hey, for anyone who's interested in what I have to say, join me in the corner over there, okay, brother? Because we got some business to attend to. So that's okay, I'll still go on. So just to re-emphasize everything that we just went over, so we said that first we were going to talk to, first that everyone is okay with myself, Makia, my bro, John T, that's fine, and Willie Burton, who's the Chief Commissioner, that we're all going to meet with Duggan and Chief Craig, and that the things that we're going to raise includes that all charges and tickets dropped. And do we still have people in detention from the protests, or are they all?
If anyone has a family member, a friend, a loved one that's just like unaccounted for, you knew they were going to be at the protest, or maybe just outside their home and was out past curfew sitting on the porch or some bullshit, check DetroitProtestBailout.com, type in their name, their birthday, and then we'll follow up and see if they're still in the system, because there are a few people and names that are unaccounted for. So yeah, just go to that website. And then also, while we're out here, if things do go horrible, which we're hoping not to have to utilize this, the number to the National Lawyers Guild is, I want y'all to repeat after me, all right? 313-925-2626. 313-925-2626. And that website is DetroitProtestBailout.com.
All right, so just a modification. So in two additions to this is one, that we make sure that everybody who was part of the protest get released, right? We want an end to the Project Greenlight and the facial recognition program. We want a demilitarization of DPD, which includes budget cuts, put that money into public schools. We want DPD to refuse to carry out eviction orders. We want cops out of the schools, period. We want to end both cash bail and pretrial detentions. And I think a thing to add is, especially during COVID, non-violent offenders in Wayne County should just be released, period.
So I feel like that's like, if we're gonna be really serious about this, we have to then like more of an administrative.
Well, if you're innocent until proven guilty, why are you behind bars anyway?
Okay, oh, there you go. So I think that, so part of the discussion is well, what?
No cooperation with ICE.
Oh, absolutely. No cooperation with ICE under no certain terms. Make Detroit a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
The brother in my ear said we want a ban on rubber bullets. With the cloud, period. It's banned. They're not allowed to use rubber bullets. They're not allowed to use pepper spray. Any tactical weapons formed that they use against citizens should just be banned.
Body cameras.
Body cameras.
Turn them on.
Turn them on. They got them. They just don't turn them on.
She wants, what is the word called when you got something on your expungement? Expungement of all things on your record that's over 15 years old. It would be automatic record expungement after 15 years. So that means anybody who currently has something on their record that they did over 15 years ago, it would go away. It will go away.